Okay, hi everyone. I'm Tony. I'm the founder of August Society, and today I'm here with Dave Koh, the owner of Bar Stories.
Hi.
It's one of the best bars in Singapore, and they make wonderful cocktails here. So we're here today because I know that a lot of you are going to be entertaining at home this season, and that you want to make fantastic cocktails for your guests to wow them. So I've invited Dave to come and show you how to make a great cocktail with ingredients that you probably already have in your own home. So what are we making today, Dave?
So we're doing a classic gin sour, but again we're doing it so that you guys can do it with really common ingredients that you find at home. All you need is gin. I'm gonna use Le Gin here. It's a French gin. I love the kind of green apple notes in there, limes, and then sugar. You have a little bit of Angostura bitters. It's not as hard to find as you think. You probably have a bottle at home. It's probably 10 years old.
You can still use it? Okay. No one will know. So let's talk tools as well, because I know that not everyone has like fancy bartending tools at home, right? So what do they need to really to make this cocktail?
Okay, so the tools that you need just to shake it up, we have shakers. This is a tin on tin, it's a 2-piece. You can use a glass, mixing glass as well. I like the tin because it's a bit lighter, so I achieve a little bit of a faster speed in my shake. We have jiggers because we do a lot of cocktails here, and you need a jigger for that kind of accuracy and precision.
And people would probably just use like a shot glass.
You can use a shot glass strainers. We have a Hawthorne strainer here and then a fine strainer. You can get it at any one of the kitchen supply stores in Chinatown, or you can buy it from us.
Yes. We do cocktail classes.
Yes, so we do our master classes here, and we teach you technique and we give you all the tools and ingredients as well. Just a couple notes on the ingredients. Again, use your favorite gin, but you want something that's a little bit more assertive. It could be spicy, it could be floral, you could have like botanicals in there, but use something that's relatively punchy. For limes, so we juice everything here. We use a lot of fresh juices. We juice it with this juicer here, and what it does is it kind of crushes the lime, and you have a lot of oils from the skin, from the zest coming out, and it gives a fantastic and beautiful perfume. Every day when we're juicing our citruses, you can smell it. And I would say it does make a bit of a difference. I wouldn't recommend juicing with those, the thing that sticks out. Yeah. Because what that does is you have a lot of the pith there, and you're gonna have a little bit of a bitter flavor to it. That being said, even if you do that, it's gonna be still 100% better than store-bought juice. So we'll use a little bit of simple syrup. We call it secret sauce here because no one likes like sugar is like no one loves. And when we do our master classes, we don't tell people it's sugar sometimes because they don't want to put it in. But yeah.
But sugar is what makes cocktails good, right?
Yeah. So you do need a little bit of sweetness to give it some body. We use a 1-to-1 ratio. We use caster sugar, which is sugar that's a lot finer, so it's easier to dissolve. We mix it with cold water, not hot, and just a 1-to-1 ratio. If you have a whisk, stir it with a whisk. I've seen bartenders stir it with like these small little bar spoons, and it takes them like 2 hours.
That's commitment. All right. And then in terms of what can be made ahead of time, you can juice the limes ahead of time.
You can, you can juice the limes ahead of time. Make the sugar syrup ahead of time. Ooh, and we forgot one other thing actually. Egg white. I would just do the egg white ahead of time too. Separate the yolks from the whites. Just be careful if you're using eggs. I would wash the shells or the eggs with a little bit of vinegar solution, just to be on the safe side. In terms of getting a nice frothy texture, what we do is we blend it first with an immersion blender and then strain it out. So that's the most important thing. Both for your limes and for your egg whites, strain it out in a fine strainer. It's going to be easier to shake. With the limes, you don't want that pulp in it. You want kind of a nice, really elegant mouthfeel to it. kind of a little bartending hack is you could pre-mix everything in a bottle too. So the gin, that lime, that sugar can all go into a bottle, measure it out, of course. And then you're gonna just reach for one bottle and pour, as opposed to reaching for three different things. We can pour the gin in, and we're using a jigger. The internal marking here is 1.5 ounces or 45 milliliters. That's 1.5 shots, and that's usually the standard pour for any cocktail. Lime, and we're going to use 3/4 of an ounce, so 22.5 milliliters. And then that secret sauce, which you all know what it is. Again, 3/4 of an ounce, 22.5 milliliters. And you see there's actually a ratio there. So you have 1.5 ounces of a spirit, it could be anything. We're using gin now, but if you want to make a whiskey sour, same thing. 1.5 ounces of bourbon or scotch, and then 3/4 of a souring agent. We're using lime here. You could use lemon. You could use something exotic like yuzu. And then a sweetening agent, we have sugar here, which is another 3/4 of an ounce. So 3/4 of an ounce, 3/4 of an ounce, and then 1.5. That's the Bourbon ratio.
And so if people do want to use sugar because they're, on certain types of diet, like keto or paleo or whatever, they want to use like different syrups.
I mean, you could use like agave syrup, which because a lot of people have dietary restrictions. A lot of them, they might be diabetic or something, so there's a low GI alternative. You could use a honey syrup. As I was talking, did I put that sugar in?
Yes.
I did. Okay,
Yes.
good. This happens at the bar all the time. We're making a cocktail, all of a sudden we're talking about hot girl, and we forget what we put inside. Happens more than we like to. And then we have the egg white. Again, what we've done is we've blended this and then strained it out. So the protein strands unravel. It's easier to shake, easier to get that froth. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna do what we call a dry shake. We're gonna shake it without ice because we want to get that froth in there, but we don't want to shake it too long because you'll have a lot of dilution. Alrighty? So we're gonna shake it up.
Alright, now Dave gets to show off his shaking skills.
So they say bartenders shake face is their whole face. I don't know if that's,
now we know.
I don't know if that's gonna make the cut. But now you can see that, Tony. It's really nice and foamy and ropey, and that's kind of the texture you want to get, right? All right. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take our glass and we're gonna chill it. The reason why we're chilling the glass is you're gonna have a nice icy cocktail. You don't want to pour it into a lukewarm glass. It's gonna raise that temperature up, and it's gonna ruin your cocktail. We're gonna put as much ice as the shaker can hold. The reason why you want to do that, it's a little counterintuitive. More ice, but you get less dilution.
Less of it melts.
Yes, exactly. Less of it melts. It's gonna be colder if you have less ice. Once you pour everything in, everything's just gonna melt, and then you have kind of a slushy mess. You want to make sure you have a really good seal. And not more than about 8 seconds.
So is it like the shape that you shake make a difference?
It does. It does. And let me talk about that as well.
I was kind of joking, but hey, there's actually science behind
well,
it.
I mean, you could just shake it up, but there is some. A lot of people, when they first start out, they'll shake it just kind of up and down. And what happens is your ice is going to travel up and then down, and it's going to gain a fair bit of momentum. And once it hits the edges, it's going to fragment off into smaller pieces, and then that's going to lead to a little bit more dilution. You want me to go through the whole thing? Okay. No, because we can.
It's fine, we can't. Well, it's fine.
I don't know how much time you guys have. Why don't you take one of our classes? Tony, why don't you try that?
Oh, okay.
because I have a very long day ahead of me.
Right. Very yummy. But you're gonna add some more stuff to it.
We're gonna add some more
so
stuff
we're
to
gonna see
it.
the difference.
So
Okay.
what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do some lime zest. This is a microplane. If you're gonna invest in a kitchen tool, microplane is a great tool to have around. And what we're gonna do is pour some bitters over it. This is Angostura. I'm gonna take a little straw. We're just gonna make it nice, look nice. So Tony,
Okay.
pick that up now,
Alright.
and then give it a little sniff.
You can really smell the
That
zest.
lime zest,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And then try that out. With the bitters, you notice we didn't stir it in, we just kind of poured it on top. It adds a little bit of dynamic nature to the cocktail.
Wow. It's like more depth.
Yeah,
And then you can smell the citrus.
Mhm. a little bit more complexity to it too.
Alright.
Alrighty, good.
Wow. This was incredible. So it seems easy enough. I think I can do that at home.
Yeah, just
Right?
lime,
Guys,
sugar, gin. That's really all you need.
Right.
If you don't want the egg white, you could just do it without and it becomes a gimlet.
But there'll be no foam. Right?
There'll be no foam. You could add soda water to it, and then you have a highball. So you could do a lot with this 3 ingredients and this kind of cocktail. You could actually do a lot of different things.
So, right, so now I think everyone can make this at home for your guests. And if you don't want to make it at home, you can just come down to Haji Lane to Bar Stories, and
Yep.
Dave will whip you up whatever it is to your heart's content. You can make
just don't
anything.
go too crazy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you can just come down and you can just say, I want this, this, and that. Sweet
Sure. Yeah.
whatever,
Because
and
we don't have a menu here. So, but anything regarding cocktails, yeah, describe flavors to us, and we'll try our best to do it.
Great. So thanks so much.
Well, thank you.
Yes. And thank you for watching, and hope everyone enjoys their holidays.